how to stop chasing people and start attracting them. Once upon a time, in a serene valley embraced by two golden hills, there lived a young man named Rayan, whose heart was too tender for the world he lived in. The village of Aria was peaceful, full of merchants, storytellers, wandering musicians, and tightly knit families. Yet Rayan always felt like an outsider drifting along the edges of other people's circles. He lived with his mother in a small clay home with a wooden roof and a single flowering tree in the yard. His father had passed away when he was young, leaving behind only a few books, a compass, and advice Rayan was too young to understand back then. Son, never run after people. Become someone worth walking toward. For years Rayan didn't know what it meant, and so he did the opposite. Rayan tried desperately to fit into circles that didn't want him. He carried water for neighbors hoping they would praise him. He helped merchants load their carts hoping they would welcome him. He ran errands for friends who disappeared when he needed them. He didn't realize he wasn't being kind. He was chasing approval. Whenever someone walked away, he chased harder, thinking, "If I try just a little more, they'll notice me." But they didn't, and every time he returned home with lowered eyes, his mother would ask, "Why must you run after those who don't even look back?" Rayan would only shake his head. One evening, after being ignored by friends he admired, Rayan walked alone toward the old hill. The sky was orange with the last breath of daylight. The wind carried the smell of the river. The hill was quiet, except for the soft crunch of footsteps that weren't his. At the top sat an old wanderer, thin but radiant, as if carrying a calmness bigger than the valley. He held a wooden staff carved with strange symbols. The old man smiled without turning around. "You carry a heavy loneliness," the wanderer whispered. Rayan stopped. "How did you—" "I've seen it before," the old man said, patting the earth beside him. "Sit." Rayan hesitated, then sat. Without looking at him, the old man said, "You chase people because you fear being alone, but chasing makes you invisible." Rayan's throat tightened. "Then what should I do?" The wanderer lifted his staff, pointing at the glowing horizon. "Flowers do not chase bees. Lamps do not chase the night. Stand where you can shine, and they will come." Rayan felt something shift inside him. Who are you?" he asked. The old man chuckled softly. "Just someone who stopped chasing years ago." And with that, he stood and started walking away. "Wait," Rayan called out. "Please teach me." The wanderer paused. "Then follow me at dawn to the river." And he disappeared down the hill. At dawn, Rayan ran to the riverside. The old man waited there, drawing circles in the sand with his staff. "Your first lesson," the wanderer said, "is to understand what chasing does to you." He drew 3 small circles and placed a stone in each. "These stones represent people you chase. Watch." He blew lightly, and the sand around the stones scattered, but the stones stayed still. No matter how hard the wind tries, the stones do not move. People will not move just because you want them to. Your intensity cannot pull them. Only your gravity can. "Gravity?" Rayan repeated. "Who you are, what you build, what you radiate, not what you run after." Rayan listened quietly. The wanderer then placed a single bright flower in the center of the circles. "In time, bees will find this flower without it ever moving. That is attraction." As the sun rose, the wanderer added, "You must stop proving your worth to the wrong souls. Start becoming someone who doesn't need to chase." Rayan nodded slowly. This became day 1. The wanderer taught him 3 things over the following days. For an entire day, Rayan was told not to speak, only observe. He watched the world move without him trying to control it. He noticed how often he wanted to please, to interrupt, to gain favor. By sunset, he understood that silence reveals who truly respects you. The wanderer asked Rayan, "What do you do for yourself?" Rayan couldn't answer, so he was told to learn a craft, something he could pour himself into. He chose wood carving. His hands shook at first, but with each cut, each curve, he felt grounded. One morning they stood by the river. "Walk toward the water," the wanderer instructed. Rayan did. until the water touched his toes. Keep walking. Rayan froze. I'll drown. Exactly, the old man replied. When something pulls you under, you step back, not out of fear, but wisdom. Rayan understood. Weeks passed. Rayan stopped offering himself cheaply. He stopped running after people who only walked away. He started waking early, practicing woodwork, reading his father's books, spending time with his mother, and understanding himself. He didn't brag. He didn't beg. He simply became. His quiet confidence started to grow like a flame inside him, and soon, people began noticing. The same friends who once ignored him asked, "Where have you been? We should spend time. You've changed, in a good way." But Rayan didn't rush toward them. He had learned something powerful. When you stop chasing people, you learn who actually walks toward you. One evening, Rayan climbed the old hill again. The wanderer was waiting, as if he knew Rayan would come. "You've changed," the old man said. "I feel lighter," Rayan replied. "I'm not chasing anymore." The wanderer smiled, eyes shining. "Good, because now you must learn the final lesson." He pointed toward the village. "Go back and live. Life will test you. People will return for the wrong reasons, others will leave. But you will not chase again, not if you remember who you've become." Rayan bowed. When he stood back up, the wanderer was gone, as if he had been a dream. Not long after, the village festival approached. The same people Rayan once chased invited him to join them. This time, he walked at his own pace. He wasn't trying to fit in. He wasn't trying to impress. He was simply being himself, and strangely, that made people draw closer. A young woman named Alina, known for her insight and kindness, approached him. "I've watched you from afar," she said softly. "You used to disappear into others. Now you seem whole." Rayan smiled, not out of pride, but peace. "I stopped running," he replied. As lanterns glowed and music filled the air, Rayan realized the wanderer was right. He didn't need to chase anyone. He only needed to become the person he was meant to be. Months passed. Rayan opened a small workshop where he carved wooden lamps, each one symbolizing the lesson he had learned. People from nearby towns came to buy them, not because he begged, not because he advertised, but because the lamps carried a warmth people felt drawn to. Rayan became known as the young man with gravity, a presence that made people feel safe, inspired, and welcomed. And every night, he lit a lamp on his windowsill for the wanderer who changed his life, ending the lesson he passed on. Years later, a young boy came to Rayan, breathless and teary-eyed, saying, "People keep leaving me. Why doesn't anyone stay?" Rayan looked at him with the same gentle smile the wanderer once gave him. He lifted his carving chisel, pointed toward the glowing hill, and said, "Because you are standing in the wrong place. Flowers do not chase bees. Lamps do not chase the night. Stand where you can shine, and they will come." And the boy listened, the way Rayan once had. The cycle of wisdom continued. The end.